Never before in history would world-class designers, engineers, test drivers, and suppliers join forces to build one of the greatest hypercars of all time. Welcome everyone. My name is Evan Seigler, Director of Special Projects for Miller Motorcars. I'm proudly standing next to four really special Bugattis, and this is from a different era, from the 1990s. Four EB110's. Three very unique iterations of the GT, as well as a very special example of a Supersport, the last Supersport ever built. You know, the first time in history, the greatest designers, engineers, test drivers, and suppliers joined forces to build a very high-tech and modern interpretation of the Bugatti, led by Romano Artioli. In 1989, Bugatti went out to designers to get an understanding of what their vision would be with the EB110 based on a chassis that they first commissioned with Aerospeziale. One was Paolo Martin, two was Giorgetto Giugiaro, Nuccio Bertone, and the fourth would be Marcello Gandini. Of the four different designs, none of them were actually utilized in the final project, as Romano Artioli was looking for something different. They wanted to build something very pure, something so state-of-the-art. In the 1990s, the Bugatti EB110 was constructed in Campogalliano, a region within Modena, Italy, a beautiful place, the Motor Valley, as they also call it, to build a 3.5-liter V12 quad-turbo, 5-valve per cylinder, carbon fiber monocoque hypercar. It's a really special car, and we're really fortunate to be involved with this project as a Bugatti dealer. I'm proudly standing next to chassis number 64, also one of 90 Bugatti EB110 GTs ever produced. Chassis 64 is a 1994 model of a EB110 GT, finished in Grigio Chiaro metallic as well as standard duotone gray leather. The materials on the car are very rich. They used premium hide leathers from Patrona Frau, mahogany woods on the knobs as well as in the dash and on the lower sill areas. You'll also get to see the outline here in leather, which is covering the Aerospeziale carbon fiber monocoque. You have a Nagamichi radio, which at the time was the most high-tech and great supplier for premium sound. So it's a really beautiful cockpit, a bit tight inside, but a beautiful drive. They're very reliable, they're very powerful, quite in their own way, as it's a quad turbocharged 3.5-liter V12. I'm going to share with you something quite special, the heart of the car, the 3.5-liter V12, also packaged beautifully in its construction. You'll get to see everything integrated, packaged, not a lot of space, but a very girthy and full area. If you look at the other competitor cars of its time, perhaps the XJ220, you would see that there would just be a small motor and all this additional space. But with great carbon fiber and cross members, and the packaging was great, a completely unique motor within itself. Chassis 64 came originally with Supersport wheels. The original owner, Mr. Franz Schneider, when he ordered his car from Otto Koenig in Germany, he specifically paid an extra fee for that special option. So these are the original BBS wheels. The design was actually reminiscent of the Type 35 Grand Prix Racer, but it's a beautiful feature about this car that I wanted to highlight because it's very rare to see. Chassis 56 is a 1993 model of the EB110 GT, featured in Nero Metallizzato with duotone Nero Inchos and light gray leather interior. It's a very pretty example, fitted with its traditional BBS wheels, a stunning example that also started its life in Germany, just like the one we have standing next to us. It's interesting to see the interpretation of a darker color on a GT. The design today is still very modern, very contemporary, very strong, and just very free-flowing. It's a very original car with beautiful paint, well sorted with mechanicals, still fitted on its original Michelin Pilot Sports, and a fine example to admire. Here is our third GT within the series, and truthfully, maybe one of my favorites, featured in grigio scuro metallizzato over duotone light gray and dark gray. And it's such a pretty example, also fitted with its traditional GT wheels, featuring some unique features I've never seen before on a GT, even some mahogany wood, lock pulls. The interior's in really stunning condition, well looked after. This beautiful example features an interior with the standard dual tone light gray and dark gray, is quite unique in its history. In 1994, in March, it was transported to the Geneva Motor Show, put on display alongside Supersport chassis number 9, which was actually white with black, super cool, and then was intended all along to be going to a German market customer. However, the car was sold to a gentleman in Tokyo, where it lived most of its life, and then imported into the United States in 2018, and driven and enjoyed amongst all these 3 iterations of gray. Perhaps one day we'll get a French blue or other colors that they featured, such as white and red and green. A 1995 Bugatti EB110 Supersport. And this unique example is chassis 40, also known as the final Supersport to come out of Campogalliano, authentically built in Italy. And a Supersport is a rarity. They only built 30 cars. Other iconic moments in history was when Michael Schumacher acquired an EB110 Supersport. This car was bought by Michael when he was driving for Benetton and Formula One, but when he was brought over to Scuderia Ferrari, he respectfully sold the car, as he would be fully focused on Ferrari. And if he was to be seen, he would be seen driving a Ferrari supercar. Everything on the EB110 is engineered to perfection. We'll see a unique front end with greater aerodynamical features. We see a fixed front clam, which is unbolted and bolted, as well as it being made out of carbon fiber to reduce the weight. We'll see 5 different portholes for cooling. A lot of collectors and car lovers are always enamored by these 5 portholes on the Supersport, something that has actually been featured on the new Bugatti 110. Special magnesium BBS wheels inspired by the Type 35. And additionally, fixed Recaro racing seats, as well as this waffled styled leather interior, a different steering wheel, much sportier, with no form of wood, all leather, duotone interior with a slight hint of Bugatti blue belts. A fixed rear wing. Horsepower is 610 from the 560 that is on the EB110 GT. They used greater materials, lighter weight materials to advance the Supersport. In September of 2019, we sent the EB110 Supersport and EB110 GT to Molsheim, France during the Grand Fête celebration. And we were fortunate to get these 2 cars together, positioned in front of the chateau. And in the middle, you'll see the 110 with its 2 older brothers, perhaps. And it's quite neat to see these cars in their element, tying in the heritage of Bugatti today and also Bugatti of the past. But unfortunately, by the time the company was in its state, only 30 cars would be built. The process of engineering is where they had to close their doors. And that is the reason why the Supersport is so rare, that only 30 cars were produced. This is a very original example, a very sought after Supersport. It'll live amongst a couple great Bugattis in a very proper collection here in Greenwich, Connecticut. And we're very happy that we can be its steward for the owner who has a great collection. And we say thank you very much for allowing us to feature it on this EB110 4-car series. As time passes, the EB110 has a very special place in history. We say thank you to those who designed, engineered, built, and kept these cars alive and in the condition they are in today. We look forward to sharing more content with you. Make sure to leave a special comment or question below and subscribe to our channel at Miller Motorcars. We look forward to seeing you soon, and thank you for watching.